They, having the hubris to place upon me rules regarding certain peaceful actions and property, make sins out of them, punishing, robbing, cages, and even murdering any who dare defy their improper fiat. Their very prohibition without a victim, every ban without damaged property, all infringements upon the right to one to own himself. They, through the extortion that they name taxation, have so thoroughly forcefully interfered every single peaceful interaction and transaction taken through the course of time that proper restitution has become utterly invaluable, utterly incalculable. The damages and the criminal violations of sovereignty nearly infinite. My mere existence indebts me to no one. They, unable to be other than despotic, falsely claim rightful control over my ability to peacefully travel the world. They will attack me for attempting to do so without their permission, for using means outside their approved channels. They forcefully prevent me from obtaining security, safety, and protection outside their monopoly of abusive and dangerous law enforcers. They establish rules by fiat that control my trade associations with those outside arbitrary lines on a map and euphemize and reframe that theft as tariffs. They have captured and do wrongfully control things so intimate in their nature as to boggle the mind. The education of our very own children isn't free from or safe from the violent intrusions and forced oversight. They, having no self-restraint or decency, have a list of substances for which, if I peacefully place inside or around my person, they will attack, rob, cage, or murder me. To add insult to vicious injury, the law enforcement that mete out these inhumane punishments are touted as heroes. Touting self proclaimed higher purposes, they routinely, in the open and without remorse, do capture and steal the property of peaceful people in the name of community through euphemisms for evil they call eminent domain and asset forfeiture. Through controls upon the very earth itself, they have managed little other than the plundering of the seas, the ravaging of the coast, the destruction of the forests, and while proclaiming their unending intentions to the opposite, they continue defiling of the very air we breathe. While failing to achieve their stated goals, they have retarded the progress that free commerce and innovation offer peaceful individuals. They, so detailed in their control over my life, rob and attack me for using my own resources to create structures on my own property without submitting to their approval, to their snake's nest of rules for how it should be done, and paying those they force to license themselves to inspect my work once it is done. They listen to my private conversations, they spy on my private communications, they hijack devices I own without limit or recourse. My expectation of privacy is completely disregarded. They capture entire professions such I cannot obtain vital services of doctors, lawyers, professors, electricians, plumbers, optometrists, or even that as simple as a barber that does not bow down before licensing, review, and controlling boards of the government, interfering constantly in what should be unfettered and unbiased opinions and labor I wish to pay for. Finally, even their system for resolving disputes about their laws and their accusations of crimes is an utter failure by any measure. Justice is far too expensive and, even when properly funded, still rarely found. They use threats of extreme punishment to bargain for fast capitulations, admitting even false guilt. Worse still, by preventing me from choosing another system of justice. Theirs grants de facto immunity to their own agents, law enforcement, politicians, and other friends of the court. Even when they stand accused of the most heinous crimes against humanity, murder and rape are no exception. In every stage of these oppressions, I have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. My repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A ruler, by definition, may find no free people under their rule, and no government lacking my consent is fit nor just in their power. Nor have I been wanting in intentions to lose to those that have still support for this government. I have informed them that their control violates my consent. I have warned them that their legislator bears no rightful jurisdiction over me. I have reminded them of the nature of my freedom and right to exist without violent controls being placed on me. I have appealed to the sense of justice and magnanimity and have begged them to exempt me from their usurpations, without demanding that they disband their own way of conducting themselves, which constantly interfere in my connections and association. They too have been deaf in the voice of justice, of consanguinity. I must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces my separation and hold them, as I hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace friends. I, therefore, being the sole proprietor of my mind and body, appealing to the rational minds of the world of the rectitude of my intentions, do in my name and by my sovereign authority solemnly publish and declare that this person is, and of right ought to be free and independent, that I am absolved of all allegiance to this government and any other involuntary system of structure of control and regulation, and that all political connection between myself and the state is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as a free and independent person, I have full power to protect myself using necessary means, contract with others, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent people may of right to do. As for the support of this declaration, I agree and pledge that by my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor, I will hold sacrosanct the agency, consent, and property of others, likewise expecting, requiring, and demanding the same afforded me. I own myself, I lead myself.